I'll throw in a few video clips here and there, but I thought maybe it would be best to sit down and share my experience with the fire and some of the things that I've learned. Like I said, it's been a year if you haven't watched that video. The fire happened to my van on February 22nd of 2023. It's been a little over a year now, and I still don't have my van back. So let's go over a few things about my experience. I had just got a campsite for 7 days in Walport, which is right next to Newport, Oregon. I was so excited because I had been traveling from Canada all the way down to California. I was scouting out some places because I was going to be taking one of my granddaughters for a long summer break, and we were going to go along the 101. So I had already finished that route from Canada to California and was working my way back up, and I found this state park in Walport that was right on the beach. I was able to park right on the beach. It was, I think, $10 a night, and so I decided I was going to go ahead and get an entire week and enjoy my time there. I had slept there one night. I woke up in the morning. I received a phone call from somebody, and they needed some information that needed me to go into Newport so that I could get some Wi-Fi. So I proceeded to go into Newport, and I had heard, and I hadn't done this before, but I had heard that you could just go into a McDonald's and maybe get a drink or something and sit there and do the work that you need to do. So I drove in to a McDonald's, and when I park in parking lots, I always make sure that I'm parked far away from people, and I always try to find a place where nobody can park on one side of me, and that was the case here. On my passenger side, no, there wasn't a parking spot. It was green grass, and the parking lot seemed to be very empty at the time. There were a few people that were parked up towards the building, so I didn't think anything of it. I just needed to go in and get some Wi-Fi, so I left my two dogs. At the time I had Rocky and Millie, so I left them in the vehicle. It was not cold, it was not hot, it was just perfect, plus the van is temperature controlled for them. So I stepped inside, I ordered a drink, I went over to the table and proceeded to open my laptop, and just as I did that, a lady had caught my eye. She walked in and she looked a little bit anxious, I guess would be the word. And then, sorry, that's Rocky playing with Millie. And then another lady approached her and she said, "Did you call 911?" And I was on the phone with this individual that I was helping, that I needed Wi-Fi for. And I said, "Just a minute, somebody needs to call 911. So I walked over and looked out the window, and there is when I seen that their car, the individual that had just come in that looked anxious, their vehicle had exploded and had caught my van on fire. I said to the person on the phone, "I need to go, my van is on fire." And I immediately ran out there. Fire trucks arrived just as I was running out there, and I come to find out that the fire department was just like a block away or something, so they were able to get to it really quick. And I told them that I had my dogs in there, so I went through the back doors. I was able to unleash, because my dogs are always seat belted, and Rocky happened to be in the middle on the floor between the driver's seat and the passenger seat. The fire had already exploded the driver's side window, which got glass all over Rocky, and they were already getting water in there, and so Rocky was being drowned by this water. Millie happened to be on the bed up on the side where the fire is. Anyway, I was able to get in there, get them unleashed, unlocked, grab them, and head back in. Little did I know that everybody was already out with their phones and taking pictures of this event that was happening. I was just in shock. And then from there, the interesting thing is there wasn't a police officer anywhere. It was just the fire department. And when they got the fire contained and things, they came and talked to me, and they said, would you like to get in touch with Red Cross? And I thought, sure. I'd never dealt with Red Cross before. So Red Cross came. I had to go through multiple questions. I had to fill out this questionnaire. And by the time the questionnaire was finished, they then asked for documentation. They asked for my registration, and I told them it was destroyed in the fire. I don't have it. I also didn't have my driver's license on me. It was in the vehicle, and it had been destroyed by fire. And so after, I think it was probably about a couple of hours of going through all their questionnaires and things, they proceeded to tell me that they couldn't help me because I did not have any proof that the van was mine, and I didn't have any documentation as far as a driver's license. I know you guys are all going to ask why I didn't have those items, or at least my driver's license. Like I said, I wasn't planning on staying there. I just went in to try to get some Wi-Fi, and then I was going to go back out to my van. I then had to call a tow company to come and tow my van. I had to try to tell them where to take it. I'm from Utah. I don't know any of the places in Newport, so I had to try to look things up. Luckily, I did have my phone on me. They took my van and they towed it for me. Red Cross couldn't help me with lodging. The fire company didn't offer anything for me, the fire chief. And like I said, there was no police officer there, so I didn't have any help that way either. And so I frantically got thinking, I need a hotel. And then I remembered I have my 2 dogs, as you can see right here. And I thought, I need a hotel that allows pets. So I began calling, and I don't know how many I called, but the answer was no, 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 no. I finally found one that was 5 miles away. It was 5 miles south of Newport, close to Waldport, that could take me. And so I don't even remember how I said I will be there, because I didn't give her a driver's license or anything, but I did have a credit card and I had cash. Anyway, so I proceeded to walk. Now, February 22nd, 2023 was when there was a nationwide hailstorm going on. The hail that was coming down was about golf ball, softball size, beating down on me and my dogs. I was cold. I was in shock. I had just went through a traumatic thing, but I just remember looking out the window going, it is now dark and I have a long ways to go. So I made it to the hotel. It took me 5 hours to get there. And when I got there, they couldn't give me a room because I didn't have my driver's license with me. So I called around to an ecclesiastic leader from a religion that I belong to, and he was able to get on the phone with them and secure 2 nights for me. All this time I had been working with my insurance, but things just weren't getting done. So then I got to my room, and there was one thing that I just didn't even think about. When I saved the dogs out of the van, I had grabbed my backpack that was what I call my shower bag, and I was just so grateful for it. But then, you know what? The hotel had shampoo and conditioner, a toothbrush, a toothpaste. I didn't need any of that stuff that was in my bag. What I needed was a new set of clothing. Luckily, there were underwear in there, but there wasn't actual clothing. So I laid in the tub, shaking, shivering. My body was going through shock, and it was freezing from the weather I had just walked in. And after I had soaked in that bath, I just needed to crash. And so my dogs always sleep with me, and so they were still shocked. They were in shock. We climbed in bed, and the thing that I didn't think about was the amount of smoke inhalation that my dogs had endured. They both stunk really, really bad. And it made me really sad to think of what they had gone through. Not only was I traumatized, but I can't even imagine them being strapped, seatbelted in, and not being able to get out of there. And to this day, they still cannot be around a fire. You can see the fire back here, but I mean, an open fire, like at a campground, they can't do it. It scares them. They get really shaky. But that night was a rough night. It was really hard to get any sleep because they needed to cuddle with me. And as they were cuddling with me, the smell of the fire, sorry, I can't get Rocky. The smell of the fire and the smoke and everything was just like reliving it all over again. So that in itself was, Rocky, no, don't kiss, no kisses. That in itself was just super traumatic. I'm gonna stop the tape right here and I'll come back.